So here we are, Eazypod filter. Loads of videos on YouTube of people cleaning these. There's one or two upgrades around that you can do. The best one you can do is upgrade the media. If you've got an older Eazypod, you actually want to oof this stuff out and go for this. As you can see, it's about half the size. It compacts down a lot more, picks up a lot more of the fines. It's a lot better stuff. Now the other thing that's floating around as a mod are the discs. Okay, this is a brand new one I made this week. Doesn't work. There's a little bit too much gap around it and the small media escapes. I made it to the size of the ring that I've got in here at the moment. This ring was made for the bigger media. This didn't escape past it. This stuff escapes past at this size. So this one's rubbish, will only work with the larger K1, not the micro. The discs in there are made slightly bigger and it holds this back. Now as to compressing it into the bottom of the Eazypod, I could see no point with doing that with the micro. It's a lot more compressed than the ordinary K1 anyway. The disc I've made as a mod on top of this as well is I've actually made the disc out of 9mm thick acrylic. Its own weight pushes the K1 micro down and keeps it down, and as it slowly fills it rises a little bit as well, but it compacts it quite well, so you don't need the compression ring screws to hold it down. All you need is two little tabs to pull it up, which you don't really need. You only ever push it down. If I bring this to the boil, as it boils, the ring will push up, the media will boil. Now the amount of K1 or micro in the filter, I think when they come, the micro comes with about 18 to 20 litres. Well, you can add more. If you add more, you have to stop at the point where it will no longer boil and then go back a little bit. So each of my pods, this one had K1 in it a few weeks back when I did the video. I've swapped it over to the K1 micro. I've got about 22 litres in here. It still boils with that amount in. I've topped up the other one, which was a newer pod that came with micro, and I've added more to that, and I've got about 22 in that as well, and it's working a treat. The discs seem to be rather expensive for what they are, so I made my own. This one I actually made about 4 years ago, and I didn't make it to compress the media. It was actually made just to hold the media in place and stop me losing it. When this pod was down on my older pond and I used to boil the media, I used to get bits of escape over the top. So I just made this ring to sit in the top and rise up and down with the media and stop it from escaping, and it worked. So, the Eazypod, EA, Evolution Aqua, say you can run about 10,000 litres an hour for it. Well, that's a little bit excessive. 9,000, yes. This is on a 10,000 pump. The time it's pumped uphill from the vortex, I'm rising probably about a metre. It's probably pumping somewhere between 8 and 9. I'm losing 100 litres there an hour through the rise in the water and the bends in the pipe. This pod, when I fitted them, the two pods, I wasn't quite sure what to do with the second pod. It's plumbed up for pump fed. The second pod, I did exactly the same and had it at pump fed. They were both at the same level. But what I found was the water in this one needed to be 2 to 3 inches higher than the water level in the other one for the water to fall from pod to pod before it fell out of the second one. I'll get to the second pod in another video, but this one here, the water's still riding a bit high in it. I can adjust the water level in this one by lowering the centre pipe in the next one, and I'm not going to take the pod out and flip it over. I'll actually cut a piece off the top of the pipe, probably take another inch of it off. I've taken an inch off already, or inch and a half, yeah, inch and a half off of it already, and that's lowered the water level in this one. If I take another inch off, it'll drop it down closer to the top of this one, give me the fall that I require through the pipes. Not a nice day. It's just started raining, so we'll end this video now. The sun's out. I'll add a little clip of the fish swimming around in the pond as I give them a bit of food as well. It's a little bit rainy. We got a pond temperature this morning just under 12 degrees, but it was a very cold night. We've had 3 days of really high winds down here. I'm really glad that the pond's covered. It's kept the wind off the top, kept a bit of warmth in the water. I'm feeding wheat germ at the moment. They do seem to slow down a bit over the last couple of days, but the temperature's only dropped. It was just about 13, just over. We're just waiting for some sunny weather now, and I can get this cover off the pond. When I strip the cover off the pond, I'll show you how I constructed the cover so the top's slide in and out of the rails, and what I found is a very successful way to keep the covers on a pond with a nice lip around the top.